Well, welcome to revision 5. We're going to look at this session at standard form. Now, standard form is a way we write very, very large numbers and very, very small numbers in a standard way, and that helps us later on with a whole bunch of stuff. So how we write it, we always write it with a single digit like 7 point, and then whatever, say 2, 3 times 10 to the. So there's always a single digit, and then if it's a big number, it will be 10 to the 5. If it's a small number like 0.00007, it'll be minus. So that tells you whether it's going to be small or big, and that's kind of the general way of writing standard form. So if we look at the question that we have here, it says 40,000 in standard form. So remember, it's a single digit, so it's going to be 4. Now there's no other digits apart from 0 here, so I'm just going to leave it as 4 times 10. The decimal point is here, and if you think there are 1, 2, 3, 4 movements away, and so it's 4 times 10 to the power of 4. Now the question then says, well, what about this number here, 0. And then how many? It's 3 of these. 3, 4, 5. Now here again, single digit, so it's going to be 3, but I've got some other digits afterwards. So 0.45, no rounding up needed, times 10. Now it's a small number. Remember, small number means minus. And look where the dot's travelled. Well, actually the dot hasn't travelled, but that's how most people see this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is minus 4. And then there's a question that says calculate these questions. Now some of these you can do without a calculator, and some you do need a calculator with. Now in this case I can see these awkward numbers mean that it's going to be a calculator question. Okay, if it was something like this, and let me just show you, because I'm going to put it in the calculator, you can see, but if there's something like 2 times 10 to the 5 multiplied by 8 times 10 to the 3, if it was simply that, then what you'd say is, well, it's 2 times 8 is 16 times 10 to the power of 5 times 10 to the power of 3. Laws of indices, because these bases are the same, you add that. So that will be 16 times 10 to the power of 8, because you're adding these. Now standard form, remember what we said? One digit. So that's going to be 1.6. And because I've made this a 10th times smaller, I need to give that 10 to this fella over here. So that becomes now 10, not to the 8, but to the 9. Okay? Now if I'm estimating this, that's how I'd estimate this number. Let's just see what happens when I put it in a calculator. Do I get close to that number there? Let's hope so. Otherwise I have to re-record and make out I did it properly. There's a button there, the times 10 button, and I'm just going to put 5 in. Now sometimes you have to get used to your calculator, how it all works. Okay, now I don't know if this is going to work because I get really confused. So therefore what I'm going to do is actually going to put it in bracket like I've got there. I like brackets, I think they make me feel safer. So I'm going to do times 10, and I got 5, close bracket. If I've made a mistake, then it will just tell me I've made a maths error or a syntax error, something like that. So times 10 to the power of 3, close bracket. Let's just see what it's going to say. Oh, there we go. I've got 164. Let's write all that out. I get 16748. 5 with 4 zeros. Now let's just see. If I was to leave it in standard form, if this was to be left in standard form, remember it's 1.6 times 10 to the, and the jumps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, actually that 7 makes that a big number, so I go actually to 7. So if I rewrote that, that's going to be 1.7 times 10 to the 9, because I rounded that up. So it's close to that. It's close. It's really good. Then we get to next bit, and it's got a chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this chart here, and you can see how it works. And forgive me if it's hard for you to read, but it says here, the table gives a circumference in meters of planets of the solar system. So I've got Mercury all the way down to Neptune, and I've got their circumferences here. So you can see there what it is. And it says the first question is, which planet has the largest circumference? So in order to answer this question, actually the most important figure is the digits there. And I've got 888. So all these 4 have 8. So it's going to be one of these 4. And now I look here and I can see that's a 4. So Jupiter is the one with the biggest circumference. And then the question is, which planet has the smallest circumference? So I'm going the other direction now. I'm going for a 7. And then I need to see all these have smaller ones. That's 2, 4, 3, 1. There we go, Mercury. So Mercury is the baby of the family. And now it says, I can write this question out for you so you can see. It says, write this number as an ordinary number, 1.54 times 10 to the 7 as an ordinary number. Okay, that's quite a nice way of doing it. So 154, and I've taken the dot already 2 spaces to the right. So I've got 5 more spaces because overall I have 7. I've done 2, so I've got 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I group it in 3s, and that's how you'd write it in ordinary number. Then it says, work out the diameter of Neptune, give your answer. Now that's a very different type of question. That's to do with circles. So I'm going to do it very quickly for you. And remember formulae with circles. So here is a circle. It knows how to get around. It has a radius from centre to rim, and a diameter that goes from side to side whilst passing through the middle. Isn't that simple? And then it says the circumference of this, the circumference is pi d. And the question asks, work out the diameter of the Neptune. Now if I know Neptune, it says here that Neptune is 1.55 times 10 to the 8. That says that is the circumference. That's the circumference. And so that equals pi d. So what I need to do now is get rid of anything attaching itself to the diameter, which in this case is pi. So I'm going to say, how do I get rid of it? Well, it's times by pi. So I'm going to do the opposite. Divide both sides by pi. And if I did that, these pi's cancel out. So now I'm going to get my calculator. Make sure I clear it all. I write 1.55 times 10 to the power of 8. Press equals. I've got it all there. Now I'm going to write divided by. My pi button is just there. It's like a little table. It's in yellow, so shift pi equals. And then I'm left with this big number here, 49338032, and it wants it in standard form. So this in standard form, 4.9. I'm going to do it to just 2 sig fig, and the jump would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 10, and it's a big number, so it's plus 7. And that's how you do those ones.